Watch your step.
Congrats, buddy.
Thank you.
Single IO point for that? Let's go.
I got 22.
21.
Sick.
British.
Oh, man. Fuck, I forgot to switch specs. Hey there, everyone. Mazarok here. And today, I thought it would be fun to start a small series where we get to be a little bit more critical about trinkets. Especially tank trinkets, because there is quite a big difference between good and bad tank trinkets. And we're going to start with one that is obviously one of the more egregious ones, called the Bladedancer's Armor Kit. Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm forever flabbergasted by all of the support you and the community have been giving me. Thank you so much. Let's keep that rolling. There's a Patreon link down below that's going to include community raid nights, a D&D raffle once a month, prizes like transmog competitions inside the raids and stuff like that. Lots of fun stuff going on there. Patreon link down below. If you want to continue this conversation, you can most easily reach me on Twitch, link down below, and my community Discord, again, link down below. Any Weekoras or any LVOI profiles that you would like to see are all there as well. So, Bladedancer's Armor Kit. What is it? Why is it not great? And what can we do to fix it? Like, let's put forth some ideas on, how to work this out. So, Bladedancer's Armor Kit is a tank trinket out of Sanguine Depths, as you may have seen in the little clip beforehand from a very previous Sanguine Depths run. Not fun to get. Apply Bladedancer's armor for 2 minutes, increasing your armor by 340, and causes attackers to suffer 222 physical damage. Now, on paper, this doesn't sound like a bad idea. I like the theory behind this. I don't want to say that anything that isn't absorb is a bad trinket. I'm not trying to get there. I want to promote more uniqueness and more things like this, but we also have to be to a point where, like, right now, this feels bad to get. It just does. One of the things that I've noticed with especially proc trinkets, not necessarily on use. So for something like the Unbound Changeling, I've asked a lot of my healers, a lot of the healers that I've run with, hey, what's your uptime on that and things like that. And it tends to be that proc trinkets are up about 40% of the time. That seems to be around where they're aiming. That's just kind of the general science that I'm getting from it. I don't have any like physical like sims or anything, but just kind of practicality. And as well with tank trinkets that I run with as well that are on proc, because sometimes I don't have anything else, codex and things like that. It tends to try and have that around 40% uptime. So this here is literally a 40% built-in uptime in, right? 2 minutes out of every 5. We break. If every minute is 20%, to gain your whole 100 of a 5, it's 2 minutes. And I think with a trinket like this, I don't think that sort of mentality should work. I think it should give a little bit more armor, because armor is currently lacking a little bit in the game. If you're going to give a trinket that increases armor, it should be by a little bit more. It should honestly be, I'd say, something 500 and above. Now this is 236. Alright, I'm back on my paladin, and as it turns out, apparently I have immediately vendored the Bladedancer's Armor Kit, or it knew I didn't want it so badly that it just escaped from my from my bags, because I also can't find it in the item restoration, although it just might not have had a chance to load yet. But the reason why I swapped to my paladin was because I wanted to compare something. So this trinket here increases your armor by 240 at item level 236, and it does not go up that high in consideration to its eye level. What I want to focus on here is Shield of the Righteous. It slams enemies in front of you, and it causes X amount of holy damage, and it provides the paladin with 3,100 armor. Just saying, a measly 500 on top of it is not enough. It's not an Iron Fur. And if you ask any bear if they feel tanky with only 1 stack of Iron Fur up, I guarantee you it's going to be no. 2, you start to feel it a little bit. 3 and 4, really, and 5 or 6, you're there. So you have a 40% uptime on this trinket with almost no armor gain. Although you do gain a DPS gain of when you're being hit, they suffer physical damage. But it just doesn't equate to a lot of damage by the end of it. So if you're looking at this being a tank trinket, if you're going to increase the armor, that number has to rise significantly. Honestly, it should be around 1500 for that amount of time. I'm also going to argue that a trinket like this should have a much higher uptime. You could put this on a 3-minute cooldown with a 2-minute duration, and then I think it would work out a little bit better. It will make you feel pretty decent to press it. And the number here, and the suffer physical damage, there's different things that you could do here. The whole spikes thing, or the thorns theory and concept, is not bad. It's not terrible. I like it. Although the damage would have to be a little bit more, because what happens is sure, this amount of damage is good in lower keys where things just die so fast and it's not too bad. But the higher keys that you get, this drops off in value like a cliff. Absolutely like a cliff. So what you could do is do some sort of maybe Codex of the First Technique like proc, where when it procs, it provides a much bigger, like a 10% versatility or whatever you have for a little while, but it's only while its duration is up. That's an idea that you could do. You could make this do some sort of magical damage, or make it spec specific. You know, you could go into something like that, where if you're a warrior, it's physical damage, but if you're a blood DK, it's shadow damage, or if you're a paladin, it's holy damage. Something to tie in more with your class and make it feel a little bit more like a class fantasy. Like, you know, if you're touching me as a blood DK, the shadows are going to come out of me and just rip you apart, or, you know, I'm wrapped in holy light giving me this armor, and that's, you know, going to cause some holy damage and things like that. And then there's some things that you can, you know, there's obviously, it makes it feel just a little bit better. But the idea of thorns is great, but the problem with that is, like I said, it doesn't scale well with high keys. So what I would be doing here, personally, is having some sort of percentage-based suffrage to it. So some sort of percentage-based thorns, where it would be, during the uptime, I don't want to say reflects, but 10% of the damage that they do to you is dealt back to them. I guess it would really be some sort of reflect, but a full uptime on reflect like that is probably not great. But you want to have a percentage. You want this to scale so it's more useful in higher keys. That right now is its biggest problem. That, with the 2-minute duration and the only 40% uptime, are two of its big... Actually, there's everything I said about it is this problem. Honestly, this one here, I love the theory behind this one. It's just, in practice, it doesn't work out. It doesn't scale well for higher keys or higher content. Does not provide enough armor. You press this trinket and you don't even know it's there. Like, really, you just don't know it's there. So you want to make sure that you know it's there. The armor has to increase, and the amount of thorn damage that it provides also has to increase, or find some way to scale. Perhaps you could tie it to mastery, right? So, or, you know, your mastery as a tank, or your versatility, or pick a stat. You know, perhaps each tank has their own stat of whatever's the best one or what's really good. So, for example, on Brewmaster, you know, it would do X amount of your critical. The number would be your critical strike damage, and some sort of multiplier or whatever like that. Your critical strike chance, sorry. With, you know, with Paladin, it might be mastery because you're consecrate, or things like that. But you would really want to tie that in, and I understand that can be a little bit of a nightmare mathematically, but you could have a lot of fun like that, right? So let's break that down. The 40% uptime needs to be shortened. The armor needs to be increased. And the thorns damage, we'll call it, absolutely should be somehow tied into your spec itself, and the number be able to scale somehow based on your stats and things like that. Because Right now, this is kind of only situationally useful in really, really low keys where, you know, the damage would actually be noticeable, but the moment you start getting into 15 pluses, this thing becomes really, really bad. But something like that would increase DPS, increase armor, increase tank ability, could be a lot of fun. And I would like to see them try something again in the means that I've said. And I honestly think that'd be a really good way to kind of fix this trinket around. Just the math is not there for it at all. The numbers are off, the type of damage that it does. Like I said, I would love something like this where, you know, on a paladin it deals holy damage, right? Makes you feel good. Oh man, it deals holy damage back. Like, you know, you're living some class fantasy there and things like that. So that's one way. There's a couple ways that I think the Bladedancer's armor kit could be fixed. I would love to hear in the comment section down below, what would you like to see changed about it? Let's try and keep things in the realm of positivity and, you know, reality. You obviously don't want things to be super broke for no reason, because come on, that's not how this, you know, it's never going to work. Any trinket that's super broke immediately gets nerfed into the dust. But let's try and raise things up to playability and make it feel good to press. What trinket also, let me know down in the comment section down below. Let's focus on tank trinkets for a little bit, because it's the ones that I obviously have the most amount of practice and experience with. I have a couple in mind that I want to do next, but what one do you guys want to see next and that I can talk to and things like that? And some of these videos are going to be a little bit longer, some of these videos are going to be a little bit shorter, but if this is a series that you like as well, come on, please hit that like button, and then we can continue forth with that. Aside from that, thank you very much for your time. I hope you have yourself a great day.